Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in health advice? You know, you're trying to do everything right, but you still feel confused and exhausted. Well, what if I told you there's a simple, really powerful way to understand your body's health, and it all comes down to a single ancient metaphor? Okay, let's dive into this. This just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? We've got apps to track our steps, our calories, our sleep cycles, and yet, for so many of us, feeling truly vibrant and healthy seems more out of reach than ever. The sheer amount of information is it's overwhelming. And that's exactly what we're going to explore. We're going to look at a concept from Ayurveda. That's the 5,000-year-old science of life from India. It offers this incredible shift in perspective, a way to cut through all that noise and finally start listening to your own body's wisdom. So, at the very heart of this ancient wisdom is something called the Ghee Lamp metaphor. And honestly, it's such a simple but profound way to see your body, not as this machine with all these separate parts, but as one single, interconnected living system. This is the core idea right here. Your body is a living lamp, and its health, its brightness depends on every single part working in harmony. Think of this whole explainer as a map to understanding that lamp. By the end, you'll be able to ask yourself the single most important question of all: how is my inner flame burning today? Okay, so to understand the lamp, we first need to get a handle on the forces that actually govern it. In Ayurveda, these are called the doshas. They're basically three fundamental energies that act as the blueprint for our health. So a dosha isn't just some kind of body type. It's way more dynamic than that. It's a principle that governs everything in nature, and that includes how our bodies function, how we feel, and even how we think. All right, this chart lays it all out. First, you've got kapha. Think of kapha as the builder. It's all about structure, stability, lubrication. Then there's pitta. Pitta is your metabolic fire, the principle of transformation. And finally, vata. Vata is the principle of movement. It animates everything. When they're all in balance, we feel amazing. But when they're in excess, well, you can see the kinds of issues that pop up. And here is where it all clicks together in our lamp metaphor. It's so cool. Kapha is both the lamp itself, your physical body, your bones, your tissues, and the ghee, which is the fuel. Pitta, that's the flame, your metabolism, turning that fuel into pure energy. And vata? Vata is the air that feeds the flame and the light that it gives off. It's movement, thought, life itself. You see how they all absolutely depend on each other? Now, let's see how this plays out in our actual day-to-day lives, because this isn't just some static idea. These energies cycle through every single 24-hour period, creating a natural rhythm inside our bodies. You guys, aligning with this clock can be a total game changer. Just look, pitta time, when your digestive fire is literally at its peak, is between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. That's the ideal time for your biggest meal of the day. And that second pitta phase, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., that's when your liver is in deep clean mode. This is exactly why getting to sleep before 10 p.m. is so incredibly vital for your body to repair itself. So what happens when things go wrong? You know, how do we troubleshoot our inner lamp when it's just not burning as brightly as it should? Let's get into some quick, super practical fixes. First up, a kapha imbalance. So the diagnosis here, using our metaphor, is that there's just too much cold, heavy ghee in the lamp, and it's basically smothering the flame. This feels like sluggishness, brain fog, that heavy feeling you just can't shake. The solution is actually pretty simple. You just need to generate heat and lightness. Vigorous exercise gets that stuck energy moving. Pungent spices, like ginger or cayenne, they act like kindling for your digestive fire. And of course, lightening up your food load reduces the amount of that heavy ghee that's clogging up the whole system. Okay, next scenario, a pitta imbalance. In this case, the flame is just burning way too hot, totally out of control. This shows up as inflammation, acidity, skin problems, and even a short temper. You're literally burning through your fuel way too fast. The fix here is pretty intuitive. You've got to cool things down. You want to bring in cooling, soothing foods and cut back on things that add more fire to the system, like spicy foods, coffee, and even super intense competitive situations. The goal is to turn that raging bonfire back into a steady, efficient flame. And finally, a vata imbalance. In this case, you've got this chaotic wind that's making the flame unstable and totally unpredictable. It's just flickering all over the place. And this feels like anxiety, insomnia, bloating, and having really scattered thoughts. To fix this, you need to bring in the exact opposite qualities: stability, warmth, and a feeling of being grounded. A predictable routine acts like a protective shield for the flame. Warm, soupy foods are so easy to digest, and they're deeply calming for the nervous system. The whole goal is just to calm that wind so the flame can burn steadily again. And that brings us to what might be the most important point of this entire explainer. When it comes down to it, all this knowledge puts the power right back where it belongs, in your hands. You are the one who tends to your lamp. This isn't about achieving some kind of perfection. It's about building a relationship with your own body. It's about that daily practice of checking in, really listening to the signals it's sending you, and then responding with simple, wise actions. When you feel heavy, you lighten up. When you feel inflamed, you cool down. And when you feel scattered, you get grounded. It's that simple. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Just based on what you've learned here and how you're feeling right now, in this moment, what is one simple thing you can do to tend to your inner flame today? Because the world is waiting for your brilliant light.